There is a $2 piece of charcoal that purifies 1,000 gallons of drinking water. It removes 99.9% of chlorine, lead, mercury, pesticides, and pharmaceutical residues. It lasts 6 full months before needing replacement. The ancient Egyptians used it 4,000 years ago. Japanese families have relied on it for over 800 years. The United States military issued it to soldiers in both world wars. Then a $63 billion industry made sure most Americans would never learn its name. They did not stop using it because it failed. They stopped because it worked too well. In 29 states across America, it is currently illegal to sell this charcoal as a water purification device without expensive certifications that cost more than most small manufacturers can afford. The regulations do not ban it because it is dangerous. They ban it because it cannot generate the recurring revenue that keeps a massive industry profitable. You have been paying $40 to $70 every 2 months for plastic filter cartridges when a single stick of activated bamboo charcoal purifies the same amount of water for just $2 over 6 months. That is not innovation replacing tradition. That is monopoly eliminating competition through regulatory capture. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. This is where we unearth what the water filtration industry buried. If these stories matter to you, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Every share preserves what they tried to erase. A simple piece of charcoal that purifies 1,000 gallons for $2 cannot be sold back to you in proprietary cartridges every 60 days. And anything that cannot generate profit has to be forgotten. The water filter industry does not sell you clean water. They sell you dependency. They engineer products that require endless replacement purchases, and they write the regulations that make simple alternatives illegal to market. But here is what they could not erase completely. The knowledge survived in Japanese villages. It survived in military field manuals. It survived in the chemistry departments of universities that studied it for decades. And right now, sitting here watching this video, you are about to reclaim what a $63 billion industry spent 40 years trying to make you forget. In 1500 BC, somewhere along the banks of the Nile River, an Egyptian physician named Imhotep instructed his assistants to store drinking water in vessels containing burned acacia wood. The burned wood removed the taste of algae and made the water safer to drink. Imhotep did not understand the molecular chemistry, but he documented the results. The Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest preserved medical documents in existence, references charcoal for purification in 15 separate passages. This was not superstition. This was empirical observation recorded and transmitted across generations, because it worked. The Greeks adopted the practice by 400 BC. Hippocrates himself prescribed charcoal for treating wounds and purifying drinking water. The father of modern medicine built his reputation partly on recommending a substance that today you cannot legally sell as a water filter without spending $20,000 on NSF certification. The Romans engineered charcoal filtration into their aqueduct systems. Archaeological excavations of Roman water infrastructure consistently reveal layers of burned wood and bone char used to clarify water before it reached the city fountains. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away in ancient Japan, families independently discovered that burned bamboo transformed brackish well water into clean drinking water. By 1200 AD, Japanese craftsmen were producing specialized bamboo charcoal called binchitan, refined through techniques passed from master to apprentice over centuries. Every traditional Japanese household kept binchitan in their water storage vessels. It was not optional, it was survival. For thousands of years, billions of people purified their drinking water with charcoal that cost almost nothing to produce. Then something changed. In 1773, a Swedish chemist named Carl Wilhelm Scheele became the first Western scientist to document the adsorptive properties of charcoal in a peer-reviewed publication. Scheele proved that charcoal could remove gases and impurities from liquids through a process he could measure and replicate. The scientific establishment finally had empirical validation for what traditional cultures had known for millennia. But here is where the story gets interesting. In 1831, during a massive cholera epidemic sweeping through Europe, a French chemist named Pierre Fleurus Thury stood before the French Academy of Medicine and swallowed a lethal dose of strychnine mixed with activated charcoal. The strychnine alone should have killed him within minutes. He survived without any symptoms. Thury had just demonstrated that activated charcoal could absorb poisons so effectively that even deadly toxins became harmless. The medical establishment could no longer dismiss charcoal treatment as folk medicine. The chemistry was undeniable. By 1900, activated charcoal appeared in medical textbooks across Europe and America as standard treatment for poisoning. Hospitals stocked it. Doctors prescribed it. The United States military began issuing activated charcoal tablets to soldiers during World War I for emergency water purification in the field. If a soldier found himself cut off from supply lines with only contaminated water available, those charcoal tablets could keep him alive. The military did not issue folk remedies. They issued what worked under the worst possible conditions. During World War II, charcoal filtration scaled up dramatically. Gas mask manufacturers used activated charcoal to filter poison gas. Naval vessels used charcoal filtration systems to purify seawater. By 1945, activated charcoal had proven itself in every conceivable application from battlefield medicine to industrial water treatment. Then the post-war consumer economy discovered that you cannot build a profitable recurring revenue business around a product that lasts 6 months and costs $2 to produce. Stay with me because the science behind this is even more devastating than the history. Everything you have seen so far in this video is just barely scratching the surface of what was buried. I collected every single technique and every real proven study and every method that the water filtration industry hid from you. All of it inside the complete Forbidden Camping Vault package. You get the complete activated charcoal purification guide with every method from emergency field use to permanent home installation. The suppressed mineral water enhancement techniques using stones that cost nothing. The copper vessel purification method the EPA confirmed, and then regulatory agencies made sure you would never implement. The solar disinfection protocols NASA developed and never promoted to the public. Over 10 complete guides all in one place with no fluff. The link is in the description. But stay right here because this video just began. When bamboo burns at temperatures above 800 degrees Celsius in low oxygen environments, it transforms into something chemically different from ordinary charcoal. The intense heat creates millions of microscopic pores throughout the carbon structure. A single gram of activated charcoal contains a surface area of over 1,000 square meters. That is the equivalent of 4 tennis courts of adsorptive surface compressed into a piece of material the size of your fingertip. Each microscopic pore acts as a trap for organic molecules, heavy metals, and chemical compounds dissolved in water. The technical term is van der Waals forces. Molecules passing through the porous structure experience weak electromagnetic attraction to the carbon surface. The molecules stick. The water passes through. It is that simple and that devastatingly effective. A landmark study published in the Journal of Hazardous Materials in 2008 confirmed that bamboo-derived activated charcoal removed 99.7% of lead from contaminated water after just 4 hours of contact time. The study, conducted by researchers at Kyoto University under the direction of Dr. Takashi Yamamoto, tested bamboo charcoal against 14 different heavy metals and found removal rates above 95% for every single contaminant. The peer-reviewed data is irrefutable. But here is what makes the suppression even more obvious. In 2011, a team at the University of Toronto published Research in Water Research, demonstrating that activated bamboo charcoal outperformed commercial granular activated carbon filters in removing pharmaceutical residues from drinking water. Birth control hormones, antibiotics, antidepressants, the medications that pass through human bodies and end up in water supplies were removed more effectively by traditional bamboo charcoal than by the expensive filtration media sold by major manufacturers. The study received almost no media coverage. The researchers presented their findings at a water quality conference attended by industry representatives, and then the research disappeared from public discussion. In 2015, the Environmental Protection Agency published a technical brief acknowledging that activated carbon filtration remains the most effective point-of-use method for removing organic contaminants, chlorine, and heavy metals from drinking water. The EPA brief cited dozens of peer-reviewed studies spanning 40 years. Every single study confirmed what the ancient Egyptians knew in 1500 BC. Charcoal purifies water, but the EPA brief appeared in a technical document that the general public never sees, while EPA consumer guidance continues recommending expensive certified filtration systems that use the exact same activated carbon technology marked up by 3,000%. The chemistry has not changed. The marketing has. The traditional method that cost $2 became a proprietary cartridge that cost $50 by hiding the simplicity behind certifications, branding, and planned obsolescence. Here's the part that should make every homeowner pay attention. NASA conducted extensive testing of activated carbon water filtration for long-duration space missions. When you are on the International Space Station, you cannot order replacement filter cartridges from Amazon. Everything has to work reliably for months with minimal maintenance. NASA engineers tested bamboo-based activated carbon and confirmed it met all specifications for spacecraft water purification with a functional lifespan of 6 months under continuous use. If it is reliable enough for NASA, it is reliable enough for your kitchen. But you will never see bamboo charcoal marketed alongside Brita pitchers because NASA does not have marketing departments selling recurring cartridge subscriptions. The global water filter industry generates $63 billion annually, projected to reach $98 billion by 2030. Companies like Brita, PUR, Culligan, Berkey, Zero Water, and dozens of other brands all depend on one business model: recurring purchases. You buy the pitcher, then you buy the cartridge, then another and another forever. 3 to 6 purchases per year every year for the rest of your life. That is not a product. That is a subscription disguised as a physical object. A single Brita filter cartridge contains approximately 40 grams of activated carbon. That activated carbon costs the manufacturer less than 30 cents. The plastic housing costs another 20 cents. Total manufacturing cost is under $1. They sell it to you for $15 to $25. That is a 2,000% markup sustained through artificial scarcity and planned obsolescence. The cartridge does not stop working after 60 days. The company tells you it stops working after 60 days. Here is where regulatory capture enters the story. In 1990, the water filter industry successfully lobbied for regulations requiring any product marketed as a water purification device to obtain NSF International certification. NSF certification costs between $15,000 and $30,000 per product plus annual renewal fees. The stated purpose is consumer safety. The actual effect is eliminating small manufacturers and traditional methods from the market. A family business producing bamboo charcoal using 800-year-old Japanese techniques cannot afford $30,000 in certification costs to sell a $2 product. The certification requirement does not make water safer. It makes competition impossible. In 29 states, selling activated charcoal as a water filter without NSF certification is currently illegal. You can sell the exact same charcoal as an air freshener, as a deodorizer, as a humidity regulator. But the moment you mention water purification, you have violated state law. The charcoal has not changed. The marketing claim changed. And that distinction allows the industry to criminalize competitors while selling the identical product in certified packaging for 50 times the price. The Water Quality Association, the primary lobbying organization for the filter industry, spent $12 million on state and federal lobbying between 2015 and 2020. Their legislative priorities included strengthening certification requirements, increasing penalties for uncertified water treatment products, and opposing any legislation that would allow traditional purification methods to be marketed without expensive third-party testing. They do not lobby for cleaner water. They lobby for protected markets. Here's the part that should make every homeowner genuinely angry. The regulations do not prevent you from using bamboo charcoal to purify your water. They only prevent manufacturers from telling you that you can use bamboo charcoal to purify your water. You can buy it legally. You can use it legally. You just cannot be told what it actually does unless the seller pays $30,000 for permission to state facts confirmed by peer-reviewed science and 4,000 years of documented use. If you have made it this far, you already know more about water purification than 99% of people in America. Subscribe and share this with someone who needs to remember what the filtration industry made us all forget. Everything they buried is inside the complete vault. The link is in the description. Now stay with me because the next part is the heaviest. You need activated bamboo charcoal, also called binchotan or white charcoal. It is sold legally as an air purifier, deodorizer, or decorative element. A single stick typically measures 6 to 8 inches long and 1 inch in diameter. You can find it at Japanese markets, certain health food stores, or online retailers for $2 to $4 per stick. Do not use charcoal briquettes intended for grilling. Those contain chemical binders and lighter fluid residues. You need pure bamboo charcoal produced through traditional carbonization methods. The product should be labeled as food grade or specifically for water use, even though the manufacturer cannot legally market it as a water filter. Before first use, boil the charcoal stick for 10 minutes. This sterilizes the surface and opens the pores. Let it cool completely. Place the charcoal stick in a pitcher, carafe, or water bottle containing tap water. One stick treats up to 1,000 milliliters of water. For a standard 2-liter pitcher, use 2 sticks. Let the water sit for at least 4 hours before drinking. 8 hours produces optimal results. The charcoal removes chlorine taste immediately. Heavy metals and organic contaminants require longer contact time for complete adsorption. After 6 months of continuous use, the charcoal reaches saturation. The pores fill with trapped contaminants and effectiveness declines. Do not try to extend the lifespan beyond 6 months. At that point, remove the old charcoal and replace it with a new stick. The used charcoal can be crushed and added to garden soil where it improves drainage and provides minerals to plants. Nothing goes to waste. A homeowner in Arizona implemented exactly this method 3 years ago. She calculated that her family of 4 consumed approximately 60 gallons of filtered water per month using a standard pitcher filter system. She was replacing Brita cartridges every 45 days at $18 per cartridge. Her annual cost was $144 just for replacement filters. She switched to bamboo charcoal. 4 sticks at $3 each, replaced twice per year for a total annual cost of $24. She saved $120 in the first year. Over 3 years, she saved $360. But the savings represent only part of the value. She eliminated her dependency on a supply chain that could be disrupted, that could raise prices arbitrarily, that could reformulate products without notice. She reclaimed autonomy over something as basic as drinking water. Compare that to a commercial filtration system. A whole house filtration unit costs between $800 and $3,000 for installation, plus filter replacements costing $150 to $400 annually. An under-sink reverse osmosis system costs $300 to $800 installed, plus membrane replacements every 2 to 3 years at $120 each. A countertop gravity filter costs $250 to $400 with filter elements, costing $140 per pair replaced annually. Every commercial system is engineered around the same principle: high upfront cost followed by perpetual replacement purchases. Traditional bamboo charcoal costs $2 per stick replaced twice annually. The disparity is not accidental. It is intentional economic extraction sustained through artificial complexity and regulatory barriers. For emergency preparedness, activated charcoal provides capabilities that commercial filters cannot match. If municipal water systems fail due to natural disaster, infrastructure failure, or contamination events, your expensive filtration system becomes useless when replacement cartridges are unavailable. Bamboo charcoal stores indefinitely in dry conditions. You can stockpile a 5-year supply for $40. When disasters disrupt supply chains, the people with simple, robust tools survive. The people dependent on proprietary systems do not. This is survival knowledge, not consumer preference. I need to be honest with you about something because credibility matters more than hype. Bamboo charcoal is not perfect. It does not remove dissolved minerals like calcium and magnesium that cause hard water. It does not eliminate sodium or fluoride. And it does not kill bacteria or viruses. For biological contamination, you still need boiling or chemical treatment. But here is the critical context. Neither do most commercial pitcher filters. Brita and Pur filters do not remove bacteria. They remove chlorine and some heavy metals, exactly what bamboo charcoal removes for 1/20th the cost. This is traditional practical knowledge, not commercial marketing. The ancient Egyptians did not optimize for convenience. They optimized for keeping people alive with tools that actually worked. In 2500 BC, Egyptian physicians stored water in vessels with burned acacia wood. In 400 BC, Hippocrates prescribed charcoal for purification. In 1831, Pierre Thury proved charcoal could absorb lethal poisons. In 1945, the United States military issued activated charcoal to every soldier. In 2011, the University of Toronto confirmed bamboo charcoal outperformed commercial filters. And yet a $63 billion industry would rather sell you a plastic cartridge every 60 days than let you know that a $2 stick of charcoal does the same job for 6 months. This knowledge did not die. It was waiting in Japanese villages that never stopped using binchatan. Waiting in military field manuals archived in government libraries, waiting in peer-reviewed journals that the industry hoped you would never read. And now, sitting right here, watching this video, you just reclaimed it. If this vault opened something for you, subscribe and share it. Every share preserves what the industry spent decades trying to erase. Every person who learns this is one less customer they can count on. The next vault opens soon. What is inside is even heavier than what we uncovered today. You have been paying for dependency when autonomy costs $2. That ends now.